Welcome back to What's Next Garage. Today we're putting the pistons in. We're going to install the oil pump and get this engine back on a stand so we can start building it up. Stick around. Here we go. It's friggin' so cold outside that I can't pressure wash it. But I mean, my next step for this car would be to junkyard anyway. That's the next step for it because it's in such. The vehicle itself is in bad shape. I mean, well, not bad. It's just kind of ugly. Ugly. That's what I built the shed for, to work on stuff. So I'll work on stuff. One, two, three, four. So what's this mark at? So front of vehicle, which is here. 1, 2, 3, and then obviously that's 4. Okay. At number 1 rod bearing, I mean it moves easy, but it's pretty stiff. Stiff, I tell you, stiff. Okay, so these go in, and that's crazy that them 2 dots are facing that way. Why would the 2 dots face that way? Because that clips in there. So the dots must face to the back of the motor? Oh man, we dropped the ball on that particular part of this. Yes, we did. I didn't pay attention. But this clip, that would mean that this would have to go here. What a dummy. What a dummy. Although I didn't have the pistons marked, I did go back and review the video, and the distinct pattern that the carbon made on top of the piston, I was able to line up all of the pistons with the cylinders they went into. So that's a pretty specific pattern that carbon burned on there. I got really lucky, and next time I will not forget to mark everything. So sometimes when you're turning the crank with all the pistons off, if the crank just stops, one of the connecting rods needs to be lifted up because it's just the way it's hitting that into the bore. So don't force it, find the one that's hung up. Something really weird happened. I put this in, but I missed the connecting rod. So that's really weird. So now I gotta do it again. Ah, come on. I'm gonna be quitting pretty soon because I'm starting to get. Oh my gosh, that went. Oh. I don't even know where that went. I have no idea. I heard it hit the floor. Oh. I'm getting done. I know my kid had a piston laying around, but I can't find that piston anywhere. So this is the best time. That's probably a message to me that said, that's it, time to quit, you're far enough, pack it up, and try it a different day. So that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm still on the hunt for that clip, but I'm not gonna find it anywhere, I know it. However, there are 2 Subaru pistons right there. And look at that. Clip and clip. So I've got spares. And this is from a 2.5. This is a dome top. So this was from a dual overhead cam, but that's got to be the same. And they're just sitting up there. Excellent. This old piston ring compressor that I'm using, I've used it a lot of times on lawnmower equipment. Works really good. Simple and does the trick. So once you get the piston in, the rod end is actually pretty easy to see through the hole. You just have to make sure, well, I had to just make sure that I didn't miss it this time and made sure that indeed the piston rod was lined up with the hole. I actually used a brass punch that I had to line everything up. That way I didn't feel like I was scratching up the bearing inside. Then I put the clip on, being extra careful. Okay, that pin is in there. Let's crank the engine once and see if that piston goes back and forth like it should. Okay, it's coming out, but we want to make sure it goes back in. Hey, whoop whoop, we got one. We got a winner. Chicken dinner. All right. Well, let's go do the other side now. Once I got the hang of it, I started to figure it out. And then with each piston, I made sure that the rings were free and that the ring gaps were not all lined up in the same orientation. Once I tipped that motor up, it definitely was easier to eyeball where everything was. I wasn't fighting gravity pulling down on that piston rod. But either way, I was able to accomplish it. Like I said, once you get the hang of it, everything went pretty good. That little ring though, you have to be careful. Well, it'll come up no problem. It's getting back that's the problem. Come on back, go back, go back, go back. Whoop, whoop. That's two. 2 thumbs up. Nice, okay. Goes up and down. Okay, now she's coming up. And down. That is so awesome. Okay, so we're gonna go this way. Perfect. So now we're on the last piston. So we're back to a rotating assembly. So this bracket hides that bolt. And in one of my previous videos, you saw when I finally found it. And then once everything was in, it's just reverse order. Put the plugs in there. Made sure that that silver gasket was on there. And then I just started scraping and cleaning all the RTV off of all of the parts. I'm unsure what the configuration is for this cover. Maybe it has something to do with oil deflection. But again, I make sure everything is cleaned off. And here would be a great place for those spare nozzles. I could have really used them, and this is why I bought them. Because after I got done with the engine halves, I didn't have a nozzle to put on that Permatex tube. I'll put the link in the description below on where to get those extra spare nozzles. This port didn't get plugged, it actually had an O-ring fit behind that cover. Looks like I'm missing one. Golly. Come on. So my buddy Nick is gonna have a field day. I can't find one of these. But the good part is I have all the way till I put the motor in for it to turn up. So I'm gonna lock these down. Once I noticed that that flex plate bolt was missing, I was immediately on the phone texting my brothers, asking them who hid the hardware. Of course, nobody did. I squeezed the trigger extra hard to get a little bit extra. Here we are, we're just getting it set, getting her onto the engine stand. Definitely making it easier to get it put back together. So I didn't really torque these down, I just ran them in tight. I just had to get a little bit of a crush on that silver washer. And then here is actually the belt tensioner bracket. That is exactly where that bolt was hiding that I needed to take off. Here we're doing more cleaning, making sure that the RTV is definitely going to stick. This is the oil pump surface that I'm cleaning off here, and then the oil pump will go on top of there and bolt into place. The better job you do cleaning it up, the better chance you have of 100% sealing. So the little extra time it took to definitely make sure that it was clean is well worth it. As we put on the rest of the Perpentex here, I guess this is going to wrap it up for this episode. On the next episode, we're going to be putting the heads on, timing the motor, and getting it just about ready to put in. Thanks again for stopping by, and as always, have a great day.